Hello, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel, and we've got another book review from the Pagan Portal series by Moon Books. Now, as explained in a previous video, Pagan Portals takes authors who know their stuff to do with paganism, but specific parts of it. And they're small books, maybe about 20,000, 25,000 words. But what they do is they take the author who knows their stuff, and the book is written in a concise fashion. Now, that doesn't mean that it loses its sort of energy or it's dry or whatever. They're not. They're actually really good starter books, really good introductions. They go deeper than that, but not like a huge big book could. I've recommended a lot of the Pagan Portals series because, you know, if I'm reading for someone, it's a case of maybe, oh, you know, I think you would benefit from reading on Hedge Witchcraft, or how about finding out about your totem animals? Well, there's a book for that in it. It's a good wee series, so I suggest to people maybe to look at the whole series and see what you think of it, because there'll be something in there for everybody. In fact, some of them are quite, some I'd never really heard of before, but in reading them, it's like, oh, right, I understand what that is now. So anyway, this one is Hedge Witchcraft by Harmonia Saille, or Saille, or Saul. I'm really sorry, Harmonia, I don't know how to say it at all. All these sort of Celtic names. Anyway, Hedge Witchcraft, what is it? You know, I'd heard the term bandied about, and it's an interesting one. This book says Hedge Witchcraft, learning by experience, is about trusting your instincts and connecting with your inner spirit. And it says in the back, there is no dogma attached to Hedge Witchcraft. There are no tenets to follow. And if you ask 100 hedge witches what their practice is, you will get a variety of different answers. The path of a hedge witch is very much an individual one, and it's a solitary practice. In this way, this book is based on my own experience, her own experience. So this is a book on Hedge Witchcraft, and there's also another book by the same author on hedge riding, which is journeying. So Hedge Witchcraft, the book itself tells us what hedge witches do, and that seems to me to be kind of very much pared down witchcraft. If you can imagine maybe the very how does it, the very maybe showy aspect of Wicca, where it's all velvets and you know, very ceremonial things, where a wand is maybe covered in loads of crystals and stuff like that. That's not what hedge witchery is. It's very much pared down, like the hedge witch, excuse me, it's quite hard to say. Instead of having something quite ornate, might just have like a willow twig for a wand. Instead of having an athame, she would have a cutting knife, you know, maybe even a little vegetable knife. And don't get me wrong, the background is still all there, but there seems to be that it's very pared down, it's very folk magic-y. And in seeing this, you know, like I practice folk magic, and I practice shamanic magic, and I think I would say that if I ticked all the things that hedge witches do, then I do them. So therefore, part of my practice must be hedge witchery too. So I think you'll find that there's an overlap of different ways of doing things, but they seem to be quite folk magic-y and pared back. Hedge witches have a connection with nature, very much so, a sense of the divine. It tells you about the ritual tools and about how they sense places and whatever. And the first chapter is very much explaining what hedge witches do. Now, there's one part of it which I thought was really good. In general, hedge witches base their practices on those of the cunning people and wise folk of old. It seems to be a solitary practice. and is very much part of just doing it, using your intuition, using that inherent knowledge that we all have of magic with whatever you've got around you at the time. So there would be a sense of a kind of basic intuitive path to do with this, and there's exercises and stuff. The next few chapters are all about the Celtic festivals, which is a good one, and what they are about, what magic can be done. And that's very helpful for people that, are starting off and they maybe don't know about them, and even why the equinoxes are important, and the solstices. And then there's a whole chapter on elements, the magic of water, the magic of earth, etc. That was an interesting wee one. And the one that I will keep this book for actually was very, very interesting. Chapter 4 is on sacred trees. Now, I've reviewed a few books that are, maybe about animal totems, or I think I've done one about feathers, I'm not sure. And I connect very much with trees, but it's something I don't know necessarily the meaning of all the trees. And basically this chapter was very, very, very exciting. Blackthorn tree for protection, hazel for wisdom, but it's not just like 2 sentences on it. There's good 3 paragraphs on each tree. I love that chapter. And then this is herbal lore. It's all about healing herbs and what you can gather from the hedgerows. And this is where I'm possibly more of a head witch than I know, because all the cupboards behind me, open them, and there's so many dried herbs and dried bits and bobs, and I can always put my hand on something for some sort of magic to be done. So I think I'm very much a hedge witch myself. And a fantastic section on folk magic and ritual. Great, fantastic, and how to put a charm together. Again, very basic stuff. There's not desperately a lot in it, and 7's on divination, because head witches do divination. And then there's about the seasons. It's a mad mix of something or other. There's probably bits of it that you would find in any other book on forms of witchcraft or forms of folk magic. But it's just great. There's a young woman I know that has very little in the form of excuse me, I'll put that way, of formal teaching. Just like I never had anything like that, never part of anything until I found a Native American lodge that I could be part of. That was a long time ago. But I watched this young woman, and she's doing so well by listening to her own intuition and moving forward and gathering little bits and understanding more about nature, more about ritual. And the more I look at what she does, the more I see that she's a natural hedge witch. So I think this might be for her next time she's here. So Harmonia, as a few other books. I think the first one I read from her was written with another woman. It was called Crafty Crones Go Forth or Go Out and About, something like that. And it left me laughing so much, because she was going into the age of the crone, or the grandmother, the elder, and there was the aspect of her magic, but also just a lot of humour in it as well. So that was the first time that I read something of her, and I've read quite a few of her books. As I say, I read this one in 2012, but I wanted to revisit it because it just seemed right. A lot of people recently been asking about the relevance of the turning of the seasons, the equinox, and the solstices, and it's good to be able to say, look, there's a bit about it in there. And also for anybody that doesn't want to be part of a group or a coven or a lodge or whatever, if they want to simply work their way through their own solitary path, then this would be a great wee helper book for you. So it's been out a while, but it's still available, and it's certainly one that I would recommend for someone that's following an intuitive kind of folk magic path as an introduction and as the basics. Certainly there's a lot in there for you. So there it is, Hedge Witchcraft, and it's part of Pagan Portals, which is a series I strongly recommend that you look into. So I hope you've enjoyed this little review, and I hope that you'll give the book a wee go and enjoy it for the things that are in it. It's very well written. Again, it's kind of concise, but without losing the author's own voice, which is very knowledgeable, but also quite humorous and upbeat in any way. So do enjoy it. Off you go. Many blessings now. Bye.